So today I'm getting the 15-inch M4 MacBook Air. I'm so excited. My old device was a 2012 Retina MacBook Pro, and when you do anything on it, including turning it on, it sounds like a helicopter taking off. It got me through college. I've done so much creative work on it. I started this channel on it, but now this new one will hopefully lead to even better things. I'm normally a MacBook Pro person for the amount of work that I do, both personally and professionally. I usually push my computers to the max. So that's why I usually go for the MacBook Pro. I've never had a MacBook Air. This computer is a powerhouse of a device, and I'm really excited to finally have a lightweight computer. "15-inch MacBook Air." Show you the front of it. I wanted the 70-watt charger because it charges the fast charging in 35 minutes, and they didn't have it in stock with this computer, so they swapped it for me, which was amazing. So now I can fast charge in 30 minutes. I'm gonna go on a trip soon, and I can take this. It does feel heavier than I remembered, but maybe it's just the box, hopefully. All right. Just did a quick Whole Foods stop, which just reminded me I left my drink in the trunk. Oh, this is chamomile tea. It looks like beer. It's not. It's hops, which is not alcoholic or anything. I drank this when I did a GeoGuessr video years ago. I really like this as like a calm pick-me-up. It's a good day. Spotify DJ was also just showing up for me today. He was playing some really good songs. He played some Camila Cabello. The song "Move" by someone and Camila Cabello. The song "Bum Bum" by Camila Cabello and Ed Sheeran. That one's a guilty pleasure because it sounds a little bit like the movie Blended to me. I can't explain it. It just sounds like that movie. But I really do like that song. Then a few wild cards, like he played some like surf rock. So now I'm about to head back. So here's my 2012 MacBook Pro 15-inch Retina. Here's my work computer, a 2023 M2 Max MacBook Pro. But you can see an issue right here. Look at how much taller. This is 2023, and it's thicker than this one. These computers are getting thicker for some reason. Same with the phones. I don't know. That's why we're adding a third to the mix. Here it is. It is the M4 MacBook Air. Look at that shine. Look at that. Why does it look a little dirty? No, it's just an optical illusion. Here it is. It is so thin. The old MacBook Airs used to kind of tilt on the sides. This is flat. It is amazing. Whoa, it started. Wow, check that. I'm gonna go through all the setups and stuff, but I'm impressed by...
To use English as the main language.
I mean, I think it's gonna perform extremely well with the M4 chip. I think it's gonna knock my Intel MacBook Pro out of the water. I don't know how it will compare to my work computer. The downsides of this computer, if anyone is interested, there are 3. I knew them before I purchased them. So one of the downsides is the screen is 60 Hertz, so it doesn't refresh as often. I really didn't care about that. I thought I did, but I don't. I compared 2 screens that one was 60 Hertz, one was 120. I could barely tell the difference, really. I mean, that's really if you're gaming and stuff, but I don't know. Then the other downside, there aren't that many ports on this computer, so there's 2 USB-C, and a headphone jack, and a MagSafe. The MagSafe charges it. But the 2 USB-C ports, some could see that as a downside. I could make do. I walk around with so many dongles in my bag that I'll never be without a dongle when I'm traveling. And then the other downside is this does not have a fan. I might have mentioned that earlier. But in the videos I've seen for what I do, which is like Maybe I'll do minor 4K video, but mostly I just prefer 1080p. I do graphic design a lot. I do some coding stuff, HTML, but I don't do any like heavy rendering or 3D. So I think that this will be like the perfect computer for me. And it's so lightweight. Like I feel like it's substantial. It's the perfect build. Like it should win an award if it didn't already. I'm surprised at the form factor, like how, I don't know if that's the right phrase, but how this is substantial when it closes and opens. It's beautiful. So in the box, there is this braided MagSafe charger, which I really like. And then they swapped out the plug for me, so I get the 70 watt, which allows for fast charging, which is amazing. And then there's all the info in there, and that's pretty much it. The forest is a no. We like the beach. I need to swap that immediately. First app I download is always Spotify. So here we have 3. So this is full brightness, MacBook Pro 2012, MacBook Pro 2023. It's not really coming out on the screen well. And MacBook Air 2025. Of course, Spotify is the first thing I download. So I'm gonna try a song and see. It's gonna be Beaches by Biba Doobie, because that song never leaves my head, never. For speakers, I'm guessing the Pros, even the oldest dinosaur, will sound better, but we'll see. Okay, so I just performed a speaker test. I can't put it on YouTube because it has copyrighted music. I thought that both of the MacBook Pros, even the dinosaur, would knock it out of the park compared to the Air. But it actually ranked. The M2 Max was number 1, by far. It's the best speaker. Second was the MacBook Pro. It was pretty good. It doesn't have these grills that the MacBook Pros have, so the speaker's kind of coming from underneath or behind, but it sounded really good. I usually wear headphones anyways, but I like the option. And then the dinosaur just was tinny. I wanted to shut it off. And I was surprised because when I first bought that computer 10 years ago, I thought it was the best speaker I ever heard. But it's just crazy how technology changes and it changes you and your perceptions. Like 2012, 2023 MVP, 2025 MBA. You can see sort of that the MacBook Air 2025 and the 2012 MacBook Pro are almost similar in size. The MacBook Air is ever slightly thinner, but this one is just thick. Slim thick, but thick. You can see that these two, 2012 MacBook Pro and 2025 MacBook Air, are very similar in thickness. This one is definitely thinner, just slightly though. If I put them, you can kind of tell. They're very close. Whereas this one, these MacBook Pros, the 2023, 24, 25, those computers are so unnecessarily thick to me. I mean, obviously they serve a purpose. They're probably thick because they needed to be. But they're so thick, and it reminds me of MacBooks when they had CD drives. That's why they were thick. This reminds me of that. So I'm so glad I went with the Air. The speakers, I love the MacBook Pro speakers. Everyone that's on these video reviews are saying like, oh, I'm not gonna get the MacBook Air because I want 120 hertz refresh rate screen. Sure, not for me. I don't care. Don't notice a difference. I work in really like intense graphics programs like Adobe. I work in design as a profession. I don't care. But what I do care about is the speakers. And I know it's gonna pain me just a little bit, but I think everything else considered, that it's not as thick, it's very portable. It didn't cost me what a MacBook Pro would. I think it's pretty cool. So it's been a few weeks with the MacBook Air, and I've noticed a lot of pros, one neutral, and just a few cons. Pros across the board: speed. I haven't noticed it overheating, and I've done video editing on it. I've done graphics work on it. I think even it's been like a lower temperature than my MacBook Pro with a fan, so do with that what you will. I think that the MacBook Air is the perfect device for most people, unless, like I said, you do like 3D rendering or heavy graphics like 4K video. Other pros, the screen size is 15 inches, which is, compared to MacBook Airs of years past, there has never been a 15-inch option up until a few years ago. The battery life is pretty good when you're not doing graphics work. When you are, you'll notice a little bit less battery life, but when I compare it to my 2012, it still knocks it out of the park. I'd say when you're doing graphics work, like HD video editing, you can get like 6 to 10 hours out of it. But then when you're video streaming or just doing web browsing, you can get like 15 to 20 hours out of it, which is pretty impressive. It's very portable, it's very lightweight, it's 3.3 pounds versus 4.7 pounds on my old device. Form factor, like I said, it's just like a perfect flat square shape. It doesn't have a tilt to it. The hinge of the screen is really nice. The keyboard was something that I wasn't expecting to really like, but I really, really like it. I like typing on it better than the Pros. It's just something about the bounce. Neutrals, the speaker on it is just okay. And then the cons, to the point of almost returning this device, the headphones through aux and through USB-C lack the sound, like the drive that MacBook Pros have, and even other Apple devices like iPads, iPhones. It was really lacking when it came to like the audio. The audio was very flat and one-dimensional, and I worked on improving that, which I successfully did, but that'll be a different video. The other con is, I mentioned it a little earlier, that battery tanks when you're doing graphics work. So on my MacBook Pro for work, or M2 MacBook Pro, the battery lasts pretty much all day, like 24 hours, but this one will last like 6 to 10 hours. But what can you expect? I mean, another pro out of this is that it doesn't really take that much power in terms of like the wattage. So you can use a number of different things to charge it, and you can even use USB-C to charge it. So you're not tied to the MagSafe if you're traveling. Overall, it's a great device. It's one of the best devices Apple's ever made. Like, I'm so impressed across the board with it, especially for the price and the value of what you get. So I highly recommend it. If you're someone that uses headphones a lot or does a lot of graphics work or gaming, I would recommend the Pro. But otherwise, the Air is just like knocking it out of the park. So thank you guys for watching. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below if you're thinking about getting a MacBook Air and what color you want to get. Has anyone gotten the blue one? Let me know. All right, I will see you guys soon.